A very warm welcome back to the channel, and thank you for being here. It really means a lot. So today's question is, should you stop buying add-ons for MSFS 2020 because there is a new version coming out in November? So these are just my thoughts on it, and you're more than welcome to disagree. But first, a massive shout out to FS Academy for sponsoring this channel, because they do produce the best training tutorials for this sim. And whether you are a seasoned veteran or just starting out, there's definitely a training package for you, especially now there's a huge discount on all of their 60 training missions produced by a real world pilot. I'd recommend that you definitely give them a go, and all the links for FS Academy will be in the notes below. So while you enjoy this VR footage in various VR headsets, well, let's just talk about this particular topic, because I think it's an important one to highlight. There's no doubt about it that I feel the add-ons for MSFS, while they're getting higher fidelity and more impressive and more realistic, they are very expensive. Although, to counteract that, I will say, being an old-time flight simmer, I feel the general cost has come down from the likes of when it was FS9, P3D and FSX, where a high fidelity general aviation aircraft or airliner could be well above £60–70. It is fair to say though that there is more add-ons than ever before, because our hobby has absolutely exploded, so in some ways we're probably buying a lot more than we used to. But should you stop buying add-ons altogether? Well, there's a few ways of looking at this. I feel personally that when the new sim gets released on the 19th of November, I think, it's not going to be plain sailing, pardon the pun. There's going to be issues. Things are not going to be compatible out of the box. Regardless of what Asobo has said, I do feel there's definitely going to be some teething issues at best, because this is an incredibly complex thing to do with your desktop PC, especially when you add in lots of different hardware and runtimes, VR headsets and configurations, add-ons for scenery, aircraft. All these things have to talk together correctly in order for them to run, and there's just no way that's going to work straight out the box when you first buy this new sim. I think the best way to look at this is to run two sims together, having MSFS 2020 as your main sim whilst you enjoy 2024. Also, the new sim is going to be expensive, so maybe don't worry about add-ons and just enjoy the content that you've paid for. It makes sense really, doesn't it? Especially as there is going to be career modes, which I'm not personally interested in, and that's because I just don't ever get bored of my own ideas for flying. But I do think it's a great addition, and it will bring new people into the hobby. I think the main thing to think about when buying new add-ons is whether there is going to be a free upgrade path for MSFS 2024. There are many developers out there, such as Just Flight, that are really focused on providing many updates. If you think about some of their older packages, such as the 146 Professional, the Just Flight Hawk, they're still improving them today. But I do feel it is fair for some developers to request a nominal fee for an upgrade, such as the A2A Comanche. It is such a sublime masterpiece of a machine that if it's going to be fully compatible in MSFS 2024, that is to take advantage of all of the latest graphical features and perhaps flight modeling tweaks, I think it is good to support the developers, because it is hard work for them, and this transition is going to be quite turbulent. And let's face it, the reason why we keep coming back to this sim is not because of the core foundations, it's those high fidelity aircraft that keep us coming back for more. It's quite rare for me to fly a default aircraft, although they are getting much better than they used to. They can't really compare against something like the A2A Comanche, which has its own flight model and feels very different in the air. I also feel that MSFS 2020 is not just going to disappear overnight. For example, many of my hardware devices, such as my force feedback yoke, motion rig, all of my VR headsets and the software that's running to support them, it's going to take time for all of these things to fall into place. And because of this, and the fact that I just can't live without all of these beautiful add-ons, I can't imagine not flying them anymore, I'll be running MSFS 2020 for quite a while yet. Now, there's things that we still need to learn about the new sim, performance is quite vague, and if there is a night and day difference in VR performance, then this will be a big bearing on whether I am running MSFS 2020 for a length of time. But I just want to say one more thing before I leave you all alone, and that is just beware of the new add-ons that will appear when MSFS 2024 gets released. There's no doubt about it that once this new sim is out there in the wild, developers are going to be desperate to make a quick buck, because the newest add-ons out there are going to get the most interest. That could mean that some developers out there will try and get their aircraft out as soon as possible just to get a quick buck. I would urge you to not buy any add-ons for MSFS 2024 for at least the first month of release. Just enjoy the content that you have bought. At the end of the day, this comes down to your own personal factors. Whether you can afford it, whether you don't mind buying the latest add-ons, or whether you feel that, the new sim has enough exciting new features for you to upgrade straight away. But I think it's fair to say that this transition period is going to be far from smooth, and there will be kinks in the road. But regardless of all of this and my own opinions, which you're more than welcome to disagree with, I think it's fair to say that this is an incredibly exciting time, and what an explosive way to end the year. Please do let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this? Are you going to hold off, or is there some add-ons that you're really excited about? Are you going to continue to run MSFS 2020, or are you going to just completely ditch it and go straight for the new sim? Either way, please do let me know in the comments your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching as always. Please feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.